how do you make sense of really unfair and unjust things that happen to us?
With everything going on in the world right now, I feel like it's what everybody deserves to experience. Healing, connection.
It's a huge teacher for me because I shortcut a lot of things in life. And so the same experiences of peace that he was able to get tonight, that I was able to get tonight.
To be with the Mustangs, you have to just be. You can't force them to do anything. It's about just staying where they're at and meeting them where they're at. And with my kids, all of a sudden it wasn't about performance anymore. It was just about loving them.
I got a download one day during a meditation that said I needed to call this wild Mustang trainer. So I called him. And I owned horses at the time, and I always wanted to work with Mustangs. And so the way I saw him working with these wild horses that were just climbing the pens and everything else, the transformation and the gentleness and the softness that came to these wild horses. This is an animal that is just predominantly limbic. It's fight, flight, or freeze. The only question that a Mustang is ever gonna ask is, am I safe? And I started thinking about that. I was like, boy, that's a lot like me. That's a lot like everyone else that I know. And I realized I think this is the way that you could help people make sense of their sorrow. So I had a buddy that came over one day and he was having a real hard time. I thought, well, hold on, and I went and grabbed one of my Mustangs and I just showed what we were able to do with this Mustang to lay him down and gentle him to the point where he would trust us. So then I invited my buddy. I said, now why don't you go up there and just love on him? And then he just laid down on the Mustang and just cried. Something in there had reflected back to him like a good mirror. Then he brought a few friends. He's like, do that thing. And then those people just wouldn't stop talking about it. So then all of a sudden you got dozens of people showing up. A couple hundred people later, I'm like, maybe there's something here. And then fast forward years later and you got a couple thousand people that have come through, and it's like, yeah, there's definitely something here. It's what we say at Mustang Medicine, is that people have to own their magnificence. And what this means is that people would be able to own their strengths without arrogance and be able to love their deficiencies without insecurity. And if you could do that, well, then you'd be whole, because everyone has strengths and everyone has deficiencies. And so I figured, man, maybe that's what a lot of us need, is just to slow down a little bit and realize who we really are. And that kind of ended up being the beginning of Mustang Medicine.